in this area, I suddenly saw him. He's just hiding behind a bush there. There you go, one of the Birmingham boys. And then just to our right, 3 of the Nkuhuma ladies. No sign of the other sets of cubs. So you probably find those 2 females are with their cubs wherever they might be. Like they're enjoying a nice bask in the early morning sunshine. And it doesn't look like they were successful in hunting last night. See, she's grooming herself. Difficult to see which lioness is. The only one I know for sure, when she's flopped her head down now, is that one there. That's Amber Eyes. Now, we're in a bit of a thicket here, so what I'm going to try to do is move around so we can get a nice visual of the male as well as the 3 lionesses. I'm just trying to think which is going to be the best way to do that. Of course, the lionesses are lying in the best way to do that, so I'm going to have to go a little bit wider. Sorry, madam. Okay, let's try find a good spot to view the big boy, because his head's up. Oh! Ducking and diving. Watch your head, Brian. And the lions at the moment are on Gallagher Shortcut Road, probably about 100 meters from the Buffels Hook cut line, and 100 meters to the south of the Buffels Hook cut line, and about 40 meters to the west of the road. That's for James, who's on foot. He was just wanting to make sure where the lions were so he doesn't walk into us. Okay, I think we're going to get ourselves into prime position shortly. And the cat luck continues. Now, every single drive since I've been back from leave, I've been lucky enough to have cat sightings, and quite often multiple cat sightings. Look at that. How's that, Brian? We'll move around where we can see the lionesses as well, but let's have a look at that Birmingham boy. Those golden eyes staring at us. Oh, no, the word staring is now closed them. Now, Brian thinks this might be the same male you saw on Cheetah Plains yesterday. With James, I'm not sure, but if you guys know, let us know, because that means he's walked an incredibly long distance. So let us know, is this the same male you saw on Cheetah Plains yesterday? If you know, hashtag Safari Live, or use the email questions@WildEarthTV. Now, speaking about how far lions move, Zach was wondering. Zach, it all depends. The males generally move bigger distances than the females. They've got a massive area of around 20,000 acres that they've got to patrol and protect from other males. So there's 4 males in this coalition. And on average, they probably do 7 to 10 kilometers in a night if they're on the march. But they can do as much as 25 kilometers in a night. Okay. Let's move around a bit more so we can see the ladies as well. Watch the thorns behind you there, Brian. There we go, just go very slowly. There we go, so now we've got that beautiful male, and then we've got the lionesses just in front of us. Look at that. He is gorgeous. Oh, bless you. There's a lioness sneezing in front of us. And it's the lady who was up and grooming. There we go. Just move my fat head out of the way. Actually, you see she's breathing. You can see how it's still chilly, and you can actually see the condensation coming out of her mouth. There we can see, reasonably hungry. Oopsie, there it goes. Oh, it looks like we might get a little bit of late morning movement. Oh, no. Oh, no, just looking for shade. Tired of lying in the sun. And it looks like we've got a lot of heavy heads around us at the moment. And there we go, the other two lionesses are sleeping. The male's half sleeping. Sleepy, sleepy. Oh, there we go. Look at those eyes. Absolutely gorgeous. Eyes are closed. But speaking of lions, Jamie's got some of their footprints to show you.
We have got such a beautiful shot of some of their footprints, and to say some of their footprints is actually putting it mildly, because at some point during the night the sticks, I assume it's the sticks, I don't know for certain, but it's most likely the sticks pride, walked along down this road taking their little ones with them. And I'm actually going to jump off so I can show you the size difference between the adult tracks and the little cub tracks. It's just such a perfect little example. So many little feet walking around here. Let's not stand on them. Let's grab a stick. So can you see this track here, Dave? Yep. Cool. This is the females, this is the adult females track over here, and I'm outlining it just to make things a bit easier. There we go. So that's the sort of the rough size of the adult. And then if we go a little bit over here, tiny, tiny, perfect little lion cub tracks. And there's so many of them, I mean, it's difficult to show you each and every individual. But to give you a sense of scale, again, there's my hand. This is the track here. This is the back of the track with the little toes. So basically the size or the length of my forefinger. Tiny, tiny, perfect, crisp, beautiful little cub tracks, and 3 of them, from what I can see. I can count 3 at least. We know that the Styx cubs, there's 8 of them around and about, but they don't necessarily all move together all of the time. So a really marvelous, beautiful example of the proportions between little cub tracks and adult tracks. And that's one of the easiest way to identify between the tracks. If you saw a track that size on its own, it would be a leopard. It would actually be a female leopard, an almost fully grown female leopard. But if you see lots of them wandering about, then you know instantly it is very tiny little lion cub tracks. Oh dear, we appear to be causing a traffic jam. Let us move out of the way. And while we do and head across to Cheetah Plains, let us find out how things are going out on foot.
Things for us are going very well on foot, but things for another creature out here have gone inescapably poorly over the last little while. Now, here, everybody, is a tortoise, a leopard tortoise on his back. Let me pick him up for you. And he's in some trouble. We don't really know what's happened. I'm going to show you where he came from shortly. Herbert found his house after he found him lying on his back like this. Now, what I'm going to do is turn him over, and you can see there in the sun, you can see an injury. Very clearly been injured by something there. This leg seems to be broken. He's unable to pull it back into the shell. The other legs have all been pulled into the shell, as has the tail and has the head. And I mean, maybe you can you see the head there, Gendry? I'll try and get some light onto it. You might just be able to see his nose sticking through there. He is not in a good way. Now I'll tell you what we think happened to him. We think quite possibly he was chased or kicked out of his home by a herd of impala that came running through here. There are tracks of running impala all over here. And Gendry, if you just want to have a look here to where he came from, if we look down here, he was clearly estivating underneath in this little burrow here. Not a burrow, but it's just a really nice, comfortable spot for a tortoise to sit next to a stump of a tree in order to avoid precisely what's actually happened to him. I don't know if he came out for a bite to eat or something like that, but they'll get next to trees like this precisely so that buffalo or kudu or impala don't run past and kick them over. Anyway, this chap got kicked over, and I also want to show you he had a very, very tough life. I think he's going to die now, but I'm not sure, so we're not going to put him out of his misery. Look at this crack down his carapace. This is an old crack from when he was a very young tortoise. You can see it's healed, but it's grown very strangely. And that would have been for many, many years. I'd put this tortoise at well over 30 years old. And for many years, his crack that he developed, obviously as a very young tortoise, just kind of grew strangely. And it just goes to show that these animals are amazingly resilient. So I'm not going to try and put him out of his misery. I think he's in a severe amount of pain. I don't think he's having a good time at all. The only thing I am going to do to help him is put him back in that burrow, and maybe he will survive. I think quite possibly he will die. The last thing to tell you is that these 2 front scoots here and the 2 rear scoots are used extensively by traditional fortune tellers or soothsayers to show you the direction that your future will take. On that note, let's head across to Brent Leo Smith, whose present is currently filled with salon quality hair.
James is correct indeed. This particular male does seem to have salon quality hair. I think he goes to the same barber as Brian Joubert, who is the only other person in our camp who can have salon quality hair. I think the person in our camp with the least salon quality hair would be Gendry. And as you can see, it's getting quite warm. Oh, what did he hear? He heard something off to the south of him. You see anything back there, Brian? No, it doesn't look like it. There could be buffalo in the block, there could be impala, there could be lots of different things. Oh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? See how he's lifting his nose, testing the air, seeing what he can smell. He's not opening his eyes while he's doing it. But definitely worth a little snap. I hope you guys are getting some great screenshots of this. And remember to share your screenshots with us. Hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Or pop them on our Facebook page, which is Safari Live. Of course, there's numerous Facebook groups that our fans run. Djuma Junkies, Wild Earth fans. Can you think of the others, Brian? There's lots. And I'm sure everyone appreciates if you put the screenshots onto any of those groups as well. Oh, that's whatever was smelling or hearing is losing interest. And the head's getting heavier. Is it going to touch the leg? Here we go. Oh, yes. Comfort. The paw pillow, a well-utilized thing by lions, both male and female. And thanks very much, Aletta. Aletta says this is not the same male that was seen on cheetah plans yesterday. And this male's got more scars on his schnoz. In saying that, though, it is not impossible for a male lion to walk from cheetah plains to here. It is quite far, but they are more than capable of doing it. Oh, Brian, I don't know if you're going to be able to catch them, but there's just been an emergence of tiny little insects that have just hatched. I don't know if we're going to be able to catch them. They're literally minute, maybe off the front of the bonnet, but they're literally engulfing us. Oh, there's one on the dashboard. Let's try and see what they are. See them there? I think they're baby flies. There. Ooh, off we went. Yes, there are. Oh, there's lots of them. Now, it looks like there's just been a hatching of these tiny little flies, and they're sort of copperish. They might be almost little fruit flies, or fruit fly family. There's so many different fly species, it's near impossible to tell them all. But literally, while we've been sitting here, there's just suddenly been an explosion of these tiny little flies, and they're all around us. But let's look at the lions. They're more interesting than a bunch of fruit flies. And you can actually see them around in the screen, flying around the lions. And they could have hatched out of a pile of dung. You can see lions always have a few scrapes upon them, and it's a tough job catching buffaloes and such. But they are incredibly adept at doing that, and they are hungry. Oh, there we go, head up next door. And going down. Woof. I don't think they're going to stay out in the open sun for too long. Now, lions are covered in a very tightly packed, thin fur on their back. It's a bit fluffier on their bellies. Now, Justin's wondering, even with their fur, could lions be burnt or get the sunburn? It's very unlikely, Justin. What normally happens, and the reason lions move into the shade, is because their core body temperature raises. So, if a lion's body temperature raises by even 3 or 4 degrees, it can be near fatal. So they try to minimize their movements when it's hot, and I'm quite sure it won't be too long before these two lionesses lying out in the sun here move to join the other lioness who's in the shade. So there she is. And they'll move throughout the day as the sun moves through the sky. Oh, doesn't she look a bit more comfortable in the shade? I think Brian and I, on the other hand, are quite enjoying basking in the sun from that chilly start this morning. And that's probably what the lions were doing before we got here, and that's why they're lying out in the open, enjoying a bit of morning sunshine. Now, I know what Brian's trying to do. We're trying to see if we can see any suckle marks. Not on that female. So while we're going to stick around with these lions a bit longer to see what's happening, James is going to teach you some interesting traditional uses of some plants we get out here in the African bush.
We've just had a lesson from Herbert, everybody. It won't be a long lesson for you because you want to go back to the lions, but Herbert has created something here called Ntsonga. And Ntsonga is this little array of sticks here. We've moved the tortoise from his home and we're going to put him back now. But this sticks, look at this group of sticks here. It's a model. It's a model of a door that used to be made for a sort of temporary shelter out here if you were living in the bush. He's used, he's used any kind of twig that he could find, but he's used red thorn bark there, just like the red thorn I ate earlier this morning. He's found that bark and tied these sticks together. Now, what people used to do when they lived out in these areas, especially if they were perhaps on a hunting expedition or something like that, they'd find a shelter, maybe a thicket, or they'd make a temporary sort of shelter like this, and then they'd make a door like this, and apparently it would go over the entrance of wherever they were making their temporary refuge, and the lions, if they came up to investigate, would just lie outside. They wouldn't be able to get inside, and they wouldn't try and sort of break through this. What is quite a flimsy wall, but to a lion is something quite substantial. So that's called Ntsonga, and I think we're going to put the tortoise back inside here, and I'm going to put Ntsonga there to protect him from lions and whatever else he might have that might want to come and get him while he convalesces. Okay, Gendre? Alrighty, everybody, we'll send you back to the lions and see what they're doing for the rest of the morning.
Well, the lions are doing exactly what they were doing when you last left us. I'm just going to... Sorry, losing a layer while I was basking in the sun. It was time to take off a jacket. Now, lions lying very close to each other is quite important. They are the only social cat, and the bonds between the pride are sometimes tenuous, especially when they've been fighting around a kill. And these quiet times in between meals is where they reaffirm those pride bonds. Now, there's been lots of studies with a lot of different social animals, and the more often they lie close to each other, the stronger the pride is. And we've seen with the Nkuhumas, they often lie on top of each other. So it's a very strong pride. The bonds between the adult females are good. And of course, with the new litters coming through, the Nkuhumas, if the females out of those little cubs make it to adulthood, the Nkuhumas are going to be looking like a very strong pride again. Let's just reposition slightly so we can have a look at that female who's lying in the shade. Remember, always let your car run for a few seconds. Even with animals like this that are so relaxed around the vehicles, just let the car run. If you start and move, you can quite often give the animals a fight. But as you can see, we start, let it run, they haven't moved a muscle, and now we can move. What do you think we should try for the male? See if we can get a view through the bush of his beautiful visage. Bigger stump than I thought it was. There we go. It's so funny with lions and their heads. As they close their eyes, their heads seem to become heavier and heavier. And look, you can see it's just dropping ever so slightly. Oh yes. There you go, back to the poor pillow. So male and female lions will scent mark their territory using urine and scent glands on their paws. And Misty in Tennessee is wondering whether there's a high ammonia smell like you would get with a domestic cat. Not really, Misty. Lion urine, you can smell it, but I wouldn't call it I'd say it's a high ammonia smell. But the other thing, you can say, well, the other big cat we see frequently, leopard, they've got the most interesting scent mark smell, and it actually smells like buttered popcorn. Lions, you can't really smell too much. Brian, how would you describe a lion urine? It smells like urine, but not a high ammonia smell. And it seems like the little flies have decided Brian is the nicest smelling thing out here in the bush, because they are literally covering his jacket. I can't see if they're any on my back. No, they're just after you. Maybe it's your shampoo, Brian.
The luscious locks.
The luscious locks. Hi, Ellen. Ellen is in Arkansas, and Ellen is wondering, do lionesses change their hunting behavior when they have cubs? Yes and no, Ellen. So if the rest of the pride are quite close to the den, she will hunt with the pride and then return. And sometimes she can go very far with the pride, like we saw with going to Arathusa on that buffalo kill. But generally, if the pride is out of the area of the den, she will hunt closer to the den. So it all depends on whether the pride's around or not, but sometimes they can move very far from the den. Now, those lionesses last night when they were in Buffalo's Hook, as the crow flies, probably about 3.5 kilometers or so from the den that you were at earlier this morning with Jamie. So they can move great distance from their den sites. Sleepy kitties. Let's go have a look at the shaded lioness. She's got her head behind a bush there and looking quite comfortable in the shade. As I said, I think the other two will join her. Shouldn't be too long. Now they are quite hungry, so I think it's definitely going to be quite an exciting sunset safari unless something bundles into them during the day. I think they're definitely going to be on the hunt this evening, so I'm sure James or Jamie will be here right with them. Very sleepy. And you can see, even though they're lying in the direct sun and it's hot, there's not that heavy breathing that would be associated with a full belly. You can see nice, even, shallow, or not too, sorry, even and deep breaths, not shallow breaths. Oh, let's put foot on sister or mother's face. Oh, and there's been no complaints from the other. So we're going to sit with these lions a little longer, see what they get up to while we do that. Jamie's made her way all the way down to the east and is exploring the plains of the cheetah.
Oh, we've made it all the way to the east in the hopes, I feel, this morning, and I have a good feeling about this morning, that perhaps we might encounter one of the less often or less frequently seen spotted cats. I chatted to Mike as we came in, and he tells me that Cheetah Plains at the moment is a maze of lion tracks, leopard tracks and cheetah tracks everywhere. And let us go and see if we can't untangle the maze part and figure out exactly where everything is. There's also lots and lots of hyena tracks, which is unusual for Cheetah Plains. Well, first place to start, naturally, is to go and check all of the water holes. We're just arriving at 3 in a row pan, the most imaginatively named waterhole in all the area. As you may or may not have guessed, it consists of 3 pans in a row. Last time I stopped here there was a marvelous leopard just waiting to surprise us, and perhaps our cheetah would be so kind as to do that for us this morning. Oh, looks as though 3 in a row pan might be 2 in a row pan at the moment. Yep, 1 pan minus water. That one's empty. Okay, let's see if it's 2 in a row pan, or perhaps it's just 1 in a row pan. Can't really have 1 in a row though, can you? I suppose it just becomes 1 pan. Okay, no, it's 2 in a row pan. Here we go. Right, last time we stopped here, we stopped to have a break, look around at the pan, and Quarantine was sitting right in front of us, just watching the comings and goings. Unfortunately, it seems as though Quarantine's favourite spot, I don't know if it's his favourite spot, it's the one and only time I've ever seen him. It seems as though Quarantine's spot is devoid of Quarantine. He is not here for now. In fact, 3 in a row pan, or 2 in a row pan at the moment, is very, very quiet. There's not even a bird around. Let's go investigate further. They did, by the way, the lions that we were tracking, I just spoke to Shanae. That was them following them yesterday evening down that road. They've now crossed onto Mala Mala. Just a little bit of an update for everybody there. We're going to continue on our search along a 3 in a row pan, 2 in a row pan, and then on to the plains. While we head there, let's go back to James, who has found a place where a bird lives.
That's very cryptic, isn't it? A place where a bird lives. What could that be? It's a nest, everybody. Look over here. Andre is going to show you a blue waxbill's nest, and then I'm going to tell you a story that Herbert's just told us. Now, many of you will know that the blue waxbill, a tiny little blue finch-like bird, has got an association with wasps. And normally around a nest like this, which is not active because it's not the breeding season, will have a paper wasp or hornet's nest around it. Now the question is, why on earth would it have that? And the answer is, of course, for security. So the wasps will build their nests. Ooh, I've cut myself. I'm just kidding, I'm right. The wasps will have the waxbills will have the wasps around because the wasps provide security. And so if a snake wants to come and eat the blue waxbill chicks, the wasps will sting it. I'm not sure exactly what the benefit to the wasp is, of course. Now, Herbert reckons that the benefit is that normally inside a waxbill's nest they will lay 3 or 4 eggs. He says normally only 3 of them will be viable, 1 of them is not viable. And that one that isn't viable, they open up the waxbills just before they fledge, or in fact probably while they're still fledging they'll open it up and leave it at the entrance to the nest, and the wasps will go and eat the yolk and the albumin of that egg. Now, I don't know if that's, I've never read that before. It seems quite viable, because what advantage could there possibly be to the wasps setting up their nests around the waxbill nest? Your other question that Herbert just asked me and I was unable to answer is, how do they communicate? How do they tell each other that this is where they're going to be? And I mean, that's not just across species, that's across almost an entirely different kingdom of creature. So it is a fascinating thing, that. Anyway, that's what goes on there, and I think it's quite a nice theory that Herbert's got, that they leave an egg as a bonus for the security detail that the wasps provide. Let's go this way, Gendry, and then we're going to wind our way down over there. Now, there are some buffalo tracks here. We picked up some male lion tracks. They're not very new, so I don't think we're going to find those, but we might be lucky with the buffalo. Herbert has found something else here, if you can believe it. He's unbelievable. It really is such a joy walking with him because we learn so much. Let's go and find out here. There's a pushed over marula tree, and we'll see if there's anything underneath it or within it. And you can see, I'll just quickly show you one buffalo track. Don't know, Jean-Ré, can you see this one? And there's just a very it looks like a large cow track there, everyone. And that's what that is. Big buffalo going that way. A whole herd of them came through here sometime during the course of last night. They're the same tracks, I think, that Jamie showed you earlier on, right at the beginning of the drive. What have we got here, Herbie? Spiders and scorpions and other spiders and millipedes, exoskeletons, and that's the violent, no, that's a daddy long-leg spider. Amazing. Okay, so let's begin over here. I think, let me take a piece of grass. Gendry, let's look at the wolf spider first. It looks like a wolf spider. Can you see it there? You got him there. Gendry? Yep. There he is, wolf spider. You can see him attacking the stick and now disappearing. He's gone underneath there. And then over here, the exoskeleton of an olive burrowing scorpion. I'm going to try and pick it up and put it in the sun, but they are very, very delicate. There you go. Don't worry about the blood on my hand, Gendry. It's okay. I'll be alright. So that's the exoskeleton of the olive burrowing scorpion. We find many of them around here. I know that's which species it is because of this habitat and, of course, because of the way it looks. It does have a very thick tail. Gendry just said, keep my hand still. I thought I was keeping it quite still. Are you super zooming? Alright, let's put this back down here. There is also a daddy long-leg spider. There is also a whole lot of exoskeleton from millipedes under here. We're going to leave them be because Jamie's found a very small, little tiny baby elephant.
He did indeed find a very tiny, small baby elephant. It's not that one. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit too quick for us to put on camera for you, and I can't reposition now to try and get to it. Just because they are going to get very protective over it. I think it's going to come through there, Dave. It's going to pop out there, hopefully, so that we can see it. Oh, that's not it. It's a baby. That's a baby, but it's not the baby that we were looking at earlier. The baby we were looking at earlier is probably only a couple of days old. It is really tiny, wobbly little creature. Utterly adorable. And unfortunately, it has disappeared from view for now, and we won't be able to reposition because we're right in the middle of the elephant herd. And there's another little one about to cross the road. And we'll just wait for this herd of... Oh, it's so tiny, and I just caught a glimpse of it. Sorry, Dave, I'm seeing you bouncing around all over the show. It's at the back. There's Mom going to cross by the marula tree. And little one is hidden behind her. There you go. There you go. Best view of a baby elephant ever. Gives you a rough idea of just how tiny that little thing is. I would say a couple of weeks maybe. Oh, there we go. We're going to get an open shot. Hello, baby. He's still so fluffy. Too cute. Absolutely stunning. Really, really tiny. I mean, I know it's very difficult for you guys to get a sense of scale, but that is minuscule. The whole enormous herd full of little elephant calves of all ages, right up until the sort of teens, as this one is. And then one straggler that is at the back. We're going to reposition. We're actually going to try and get around them because they're making a very clear beeline for the other road. So let's go do that now. Hopefully we can get there a little bit ahead of them so that we don't startle them. And then maybe we'll get another view of that little one because it's adorable. And no day is complete. No safari experience is complete without a little bit of time spent with elephants, in my opinion. And just by the way, an update for you. The Karula and her cubs are safe and sound south of our boundary. So they moved south after the incident this morning with the hyena. They've disappeared to the south. And they're both cubs present and accounted for and safe. Just a comforting update for you all. If you were concerned, as I'm sure you were. Come on, Rusty, let's try and be a bit quieter. Here we go. They're going to come to us, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. I'm going to try and put us in the best possible position. It is into the sun, but it is in line with where they are coming through. We all stopped to feed now. Hey, look at this. Tuskless elephant. Let's go fractionally forward so I can actually get the sun on the other side of them. And then we have a better view of as they start to walk towards us. But this elephant doesn't have any tusks. Let the engine run for a bit. Oh, tuskless elephants. A naturally occurring phenomenon, although it has been artificially selected for due to human interference, but it is a naturally occurring genetic abnormality. It occurs, elephant. It occurs in about 4% of elephants throughout the world naturally. That percentage has been boosted right up to around 10, even up into places in Zambia, up to about 30% of elephants now born without tusks. And that, of course, is due to tremendous amounts of poaching in those sorts of areas. And this is actually a tuskless female, which we see. There's a herd with 2 tuskless females, and I'm wondering if it's not this one. Impossible for us to tell at this point. And then, in complete contrast to our elephant without tusks, just have a look at this little youngster that's come through behind her. And for his size, his tusks are absolutely enormous for his age. Look at that. You'll see when he walks into the open, you'll get an idea of just how disproportionately large his tusks seem. And now that, when he grows up, that bull, and it's very clearly a bull, judging by the thickness of those tusks, that little bull is going to be one to watch. He might have monster tusks if he doesn't break them off. Because he's young. I would say he's under 10 years old. Maybe not. Maybe not quite. Maybe just around 10 years old. A complete contrast to our tuskless female. And I was so hoping our elephants were going to keep coming in this direction. But they've all stopped in the thick bush willow woodland. I was hoping they were going to go for a drink at Cheetah Plains Pan. I've just realized that Cheetah Plains Pan doesn't actually have any water anymore. And good morning to Michael. We saw that little elephant calf racing away from us, and it was very, very fluffy. And Michael wants to know why that is. Why are elephant calves born so fluffy with all that fluff around their heads? Michael, first of all, our Benjamin Button elephant, our little calf that's been nicknamed Benji, he's the exception rather than the rule. He looks as though, as James said, he actually looks as though he's got implants. He's had hair implants put in. The most ridiculous looking thing. That's unusual, but all baby elephants are born with extra levels of fluff. So much fluffier than their adult counterparts. I mean, the leopard cubs are, the lion cubs are, everything's a bit fluffier when it's born. But I don't know why that might be the case with elephants. Excuse me. I'm just watching them, trying to figure out exactly where they're going to go. Unfortunately, they've all pretty much disappeared into the tree line. I don't think I've got a view of any of them at the moment. And they've just decided to stop there. So while we search for a different view, or maybe even not search for a different view, maybe wait patiently for them to move out into the open. Let's go back across to Brent and his sleepy lions.
Not much has changed here. And you can see as it's got warmer, the one lioness has opened her legs, exposing that white belly. Sorry, my head's in the way, to try release some heat. Other than that, there's been absolutely no movement. I was hoping they were going to get up and possibly move into the shade, but well, the opening of the legs is a sign that she's starting to get warm, so she might move into the shade shortly. I'm just going to reposition again a little bit because the male, you can have a look, he's flat as well. But the sun is creeping up on him, so he might get up to move shortly. Look at that. Oh, it looks like he's dreaming. Dreaming of buffalo, no doubt. Or is he dreaming of Nkuhuma lionesses? There isn't anything out in the African bush that I've ever experienced that can sleep quite like a lion can. Leopards sleep heavily, but not to the same degree. Male lion definitely takes the cake. Very little to worry about while you're having a nap, apart from maybe an elephant. The epitome of a flat cat. A dreaming flat cat. Almost half expect to see his legs start scurrying as he's chasing something through the bush. But his eyes twitching and his mouth are twitching. Okay, let's try a reposition. Again, notice how I let the engine run, no movement whatsoever. Oh, quickly across to the other vehicle, or not sure what.
Look at what we have here. How very fascinating. By the way, I was wrong about Cheetah Plains Pan having no water, because it does indeed have water. We've got a bird of prey that I think might be coming across to have a drink. I don't want to get any closer, and it's difficult in this light. The sun is right behind us, or behind the bird rather. But I don't want to sneak any closer, but I would really curiously like to know what this bird is up to. Sorry about the heat waves coming up from the bonnet as well. I'm not sure whether you are seeing that as clearly as I am, but it's sort of playing havoc slightly with the images. What are you up to, Eagle? Looks like a tawny from what I can see of it. You guys have got a slightly clearer view. You are welcome to correct me. And it appears to be contemplating its navel at present. Not, of course, that birds really have navels. What are you up to? I wonder if it's killed something. And it's just taking a quick break before it starts to feed. Keeps looking down at its feet. But it's also keeping an eye on us, a little bit nervous at our presence here as well. Look at that incredible hooked beak. Might not be able to see it terribly clearly, but you can get an idea of the shape and the power of that bull. Wonder if it hasn't killed something. We've just got the wrong angle for a view, hidden behind the wall. I think it might be worth risking shifting around ever so slightly. It'll change the angle. It'll also make the sun a bit easier, because at the moment both Dave and myself are a bit blinded by it. It's very bright out here. Perhaps let's try and reposition. Now that you've seen it, let's see if we can't figure out what it's up to. The engine run a little bit. And then just scoot around. It's okay, birdie. Please don't fly. Please don't fly. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, it definitely doesn't have a kill. It's as close as I'm prepared to go. I think if we go any closer, it's going to go. There you go, feathered all the way down to the legs. That immediately tells you that you are dealing with an eagle, a true eagle, rather than any other bird of prey. But we could tell that straight away from the size of this particular bird. It's tall. You can come almost all the way up to my knee. What is there? What is so fascinating at your feet? This is most bemusing. Might be down here to look for termites, and birds of prey not necessarily stuck on feeding on just things like rodents and frogs and birds. They will also catch insects. I'm not 100% why our feathered friend is grounded for now. Not even particularly windy. It is just phenomenally bright. Trying to see if there's another bird of prey around us. Perhaps might give us a hint. Maybe he's just come to sunbathe. Makes sense. I was just saying to Dave that the temperature feels like it's dropped ever so slightly, so perhaps our bird has come down to the ground for a bit of shelter from the wind and some warm sun to heat up after a very chilly evening. Margaret, I agree. I also think it's a tawny eagle. You guys will be able to see a little bit more clearly than I can, just in terms of the size of the screen and also the fact that the sun's incredibly bright. Oh, it was a one-legged eagle until now. Popped its other foot down. What has it got? Yes, that's your foot. That's your feet, actually. There's two of them. Oh, it's given us such a marvelous view of its feet there before going back onto one leg. And that's a very common raptor pose. They love to stand on one leg. Very, very common to see it. And I remember when I was first training, a trainer of mine had everybody looking up a one-legged bird, except me. Well, let's put it this way, he had every student who's not South African looking through the bird book to try and find the one-legged eagle. Oh, I have a good scratch. But Margaret, yes, I agree. It looks like a tawny from my perspective. Oh, big yawn. Might be a juvenile, which is why it's got the mottled colouring to it. So we've got a bird seemingly fascinated by its feet, standing on one leg in the sun in an open area, not really doing much except for sunbathing. I think the conclusion is that it's just enjoying a good morning to warm up. Yep, your feet's still there, don't worry. It's okay. Interesting. Still looking from side to side. Probably making sure that nothing's sneaking up on it. Probably feels incredibly vulnerable down on the ground like this. We are very far away. We are very zoomed in. So every time I move the car, it that causes that jumping movement. That one was Dave, though.
Yes.
I'm not taking the blame for that one. I'm usually quite still. Okay. While I try and figure out what this bird is up to, I'm not quite sure. I think Dave and I will probably move on. Let's go over to James, who's found one of my least favorite creatures.
Well, look at this, everybody, fossicking about in the dirt, scrabbling in the obese mess that they find themselves. Two of the world's most despised creatures, as Jamie said. Ticks! Look at the size of these ticks. They are engorged with blood. They have sucked the blood of the buffalo on whose tracks we are walking now. And they are deeply vile. Let me pick one up for you. Now, a tick is an arachnid. See, it's got 8 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 2 pedipalps in the front, in much the same way that a spider does. This thing started life as no more than a pinprick, and it is now an enormous and disgustingly engorged animal. It is unable to move anymore because it is so fat, and as far as I understand it, it's come to the end of its life cycle, and it's now going to probably lay eggs and then die, thoroughly satisfied with its efforts at eating blood from buffalo. Isn't it vile? What do you think, Jean-Andre? I'd like to find one of those walking around on you. And there you can see its head in the sun. Absolutely astounding. Anyway, we're carrying on these buffalo tracks, and we're going to see if we can find them before the end of the show. I don't think we're going to. Looks like they were chased down here by lions, so we're probably going to turn towards the front. Herb's got something over there. Let's go and have a look. I'm going to leave these ticks over here. Just come over here, Jean-Andre, if you don't mind. I've picked this other stick up, everyone, because I quite like it. And I think it's going to be a good stick. Once I've chopped it up a little, Herbie's found something quickly here, and then we'll send you back to Brent or Jamie, I'm not sure whom. Sorry, Jean-Andre, I know this is quite fast for you. What have we got, Herb?
It's a scorpion.
It's a scorpion. Tiny scorpion, everybody. It's underneath this little piece of bark here. Sorry. Oh my. Look at that. Can you see it, Jean-Andre? It's just there. In front of my finger. Can you see it there? It's a tiny, tiny little scorpion about half a centimeter long. Have you got him? Look how tiny he is. I don't know what kind of scorpion that is. It's not one of those olive burrowing scorpions, everyone. And I can tell that because the pincers are too fat and the tail is too thin and the colour is wrong. It's not olive. I suspect it's one of those Opisthecanthus scorpions, but I'm not sure. Isn't that amazing? Minute. I'm going to put my finger back into the shot there. It's probably, well, with its tail, it's probably about a centimetre long. Isn't that fantastic? Just living under the log here. We'll cover him up again now. Okay, let's go back to Brenty and the lions. We'll continue probably heading, we'll slowly make our way back towards home now. See you just now.
Now, the one lioness, the one who had... No, it wasn't. It's not the one who had her legs open. The one who had her legs open was Amber Eyes. The other lioness has got up and she's moved and she's lying next to her sister. Now, she has definite suckle marks. So this one has cubs, so that pretty much confirms what we think, that 3 of the Nkuhumas have cubs at the moment. So we've only seen 2 sets, so there's still a 3rd set to find. Isn't that exciting? Now where her den site is, oof, only she knows. Now, we're not going to stay here for too much longer. I don't think the lions are going to move at all unless something happens to stumble onto them. But at the moment it looks like they're going to be snoozing in this area and should be here on the sunset safari. Now, Marianne's wondering what is the purpose of the black stripe on the back of a lion's ears. Now, it's a very important thing, actually, Marianne. It's a following mechanism for cubs, like the black tip to the tail. It's also a visual indicator while hunting. And there's some very interesting research being done on non-verbal communication between social predators when they hunt. And it looks like there's quite a lot of information that's relayed by movement of the ears while the lions are hunting. So very, very interesting stuff, very sort of groundbreaking when it comes to predator behavior. And there's a very, very well-known lion guy or lion scientist by the name of Craig Packer who's heading that research at the moment. I've been fortunate enough to work with him on a few projects, so very, very interesting, and I can't wait for the outcome of that study. It is going to be a while yet, though. Oh, it looks like Mister's popped his head up. Let's have a look. Hopefully he doesn't pop it down before we swing around towards him. How's that, Brian? There we go. Well, he had popped his head up and possibly checking to see if the lioness is trying to sneak away while he was snoozing. Oh, there, that head gets heavy again, back onto his foreleg. I'm quite sure that these lions are going to be in the exact same spot come sunset safari, and I don't think we're going to get too much movement. It was nice to confirm that the 3rd lioness is indeed suckling. So that means there's 3 sets of Nkuhuma cubs. We've only found 2. So it could be very, very exciting in the next while. And I wonder if she's also got 3 cubs, or does she have 2, or does she have 1, or does she even have 4? A record in the wild is 6 cubs to a single lioness, but that is incredibly unusual. Even 3 is quite a lot, and sort of norm is 2. I think we're going to let these lions doze off and head towards some of the water holes and see if we can find some general game. Oh, okay. Legs are opening. I mean, she's starting to get hot, so she might get up and move to the other girls in the shade. Now, April's wondering what are the chances or the likelihood of the other set of cubs being close by. Well, it's quite good. All 3 lionesses have been using the little drainage systems on Djuma. I mean, or 2 of them so far. So it's a strong possibility that she could also be using one of these little drainage systems on Djuma. So very exciting. Oh, not that hot yet. Legs are closed again. And the rest of the kitty cats are fast to doo-doo. And I think Brian and I have spent sufficient time warming our bones in the sun. So we're going to leave these lions and see, as I said, make our way to a waterhole. This time of day, as it starts getting warm, quite often things like zebra and wildebeest and maybe even some buffalo will be heading towards the waterholes. So let's go have a look. Okay, we're going to remove ourselves from here. one last look at the big boy. He's now decided the ground's a better pillow than his paw. Oh, so peaceful. Okay, kiddies, enjoy your snooze. As I said, they're going to be very close to here come sunset safari, so I think they are quite hungry, so there's a good chance they might hunt. How did we get ourselves in here, Brian? Well, me neither. We must have been quite clever. Looks like there's a wall behind us. Oh, we'll have to go this way then. Yes. We came through along the elephant path. Big game trail here. Aha! I think we went through here. Oh no, we went through there. Oh, we'll go through here this time. You okay, Brian? Brian just avoiding the very, very sharp hooked thorns of the knobthorn tree. Got to be on that game drive radio with yours quickly. Standing by. Yours, I'm leaving now. I'm leaving Taxon here, so you're more than welcome to make your way. So Remay is wondering, what is the best advice that my dad has given me about the bush? Ooh, that's a difficult question, Remay. I'd say it's rather than advice, it's been time spent, and in particular, probably time spent with elephants, and getting to learn the little nuances in their behavior, especially in the area I grew up in Botswana. And during this time of the year, we could have 20 to 25,000 elephants in 200,000 hectares. So just driving between the two camps, which was about 40 kilometers, you could see 2,000 elephants, and a lot of those elephants weren't used to cars. So you have to be quite careful and really know your elephant behavior well, especially in the early days when the elephants were really not used to cars and used to charge quite a lot. So I think just time spent with elephants. Now, I do believe to a degree that some people can read animals better than others. What have you seen, Brian? Oh, I thought you looked up and saw something there. So I said some people can read animals better than others, but even then, like any natural skill, the more you work at it, the better you get at it. So I'd say probably all the time spent and teaching me how to read elephants in particular, but all the animals. So not really advice. Advice possibly, trust your gut. Your gut's seldom wrong, especially when it comes to a bit of a hairy situation. If gut says shout and bang the car, shout and bang the car. If gut says keep quiet, it's okay, it's probably.
Just oopsie daisy. Well, it seems as though Brent has disappeared off your screens, but never fear, we're still around, we're still available, and we're still on Cheetah Plains, and we're about to get to the open part of Cheetah Plains actually very, very shortly. Unfortunately, No matter where I went, I couldn't get you another view of those elephants, so Dave and myself have moved on for now. We've gone to go investigate claims that a cheetah have been wandering through this area. I found a really interesting track, but I'm hesitant. I can't confirm it 100% because it had been driven over, or it had been driven right next to, so I can't fully clarify. But I think I found a brown hyena track. And the reason I say that, there's a vast difference between a spotted hyena track and a brown hyena track. And that is that for brown hyena, the track of their back foot is about less than half the size of their front foot. It is tiny. There's a massive size difference between its front track and its back track. Whereas with spotted hyena, that difference is not as pronounced. I've seen lots of brown hyena tracks in the past. This one was in such thick sand, and it had been driven next to, that I wasn't 100% sure, not confident enough to actually show you or give it to you as an example. But I think it is something really worth following up on Cheetah Plains in the future, keeping an eye out for. Because now that I think about it, it makes absolute sense. We've got the boundary of Kruger right here. We know that there's a brown hyena in the Kruger National Park, and the fact that they might be coming onto Cheetah Plains for a visit is something very exciting indeed. And what's even more exciting about it is, if I am right, I'm not 100% sure that I am, but I think I might be. If I am right, brown hyenas often walk regular pathways, so it'll be worth one evening before, we always start to head further west towards the end of the sunset safari, but it might be worth staying out that little bit extra at the end of a sunset safari one day and just checking that area around Buffalo Pan, because who knows, we might have a marvelous surprise. And I think, as far as I know, there's only one brown hyena that has ever been seen on these live drives before, so it is something that would be incredibly exciting. Definitely something I would love to be able to share with you. So let's keep our fingers crossed that I am right. Okay, Cheetah. And again, a very good morning to Michael on the sunrise safari, speaking about cheetah and hoping that they might pop out in front of us. I haven't seen any tracks, but I am checking very carefully. Michael, is there the possibility or the prospect of cheetah cubs in our future? Absolutely there is. Now, it's a difficult one in that female cheetah are almost, their home ranges are so enormous, so as for them to be almost to be considered nomadic. But when they do have cubs, then they do settle into one area in particular. Now, since these boys are often here, there's a chance that she could mate with them and then stay in the area. Let's wave hello to Mala Mala. And maybe, he doesn't look like he's rushing anywhere, so we won't be following him. So there is a chance, there is always a chance that we could see cheetah cubs, and that would be, let me tell you something, it would make VM so happy. I think it would be the best. It would make all of us happy. You can imagine how wonderful that would be. But VM in particular has a thing about cheetah cubs. He is dying to see them on our live safaris. This has become awkward now. I'm gonna veer off to the right. This has just got too awkward for me. This is just really socially awkward situation. When driving two parallel roads at the same speed, it's like when you say goodbye to somebody and then you both walk off in the same direction, and then it just becomes awkward. That's what that was. That whole situation was just awkward. We'll move on. He doesn't look like he knows something I don't. Over to Brent, who's got a rare animal. Or dog. I'm ready.
And it is a rare animal we've been seeing more of, and I'm going to stop where we can see them. They're a little bit skittish. How's that, Brian? Not great. Oh, there's a few around. There we go. There we go. There's a big boy at the back. Oh, off they disappear. It's quite a big troop. I'd say easily 25, 30, maybe even a few more of the chakma baboon. Now, of all the animals out here, let me go back a bit. Of the carnivore slash omnivore. Oh, they're going to disappear into the tree line. One last look at that big boy. There he is. And they have longer canines than a male lion. Can you believe it? Obviously not as thick, but longer. We'll try to see if we can get... I don't think we're going to get any closer to them, unfortunately. They are a bit skittish. They don't spend too much time on Djuma, and with the drought, it's forcing them to move into bigger areas to forage, to make sure they get enough food. Yell if you get a gap there, Brian. I think they're moving into the tree line towards the little river system. Oh! Roller wars. Lilac-breasted rollers attacking purple roller. So there's the lilac-breasted roller coming in to attack the purple, who's sitting on the branch. Now, of course, they do compete for the similar food source. And we do have a pair of purple rollers and a pair of lilac-breasted rollers on quarantine. And let's try to get a bit closer to the purple. Oh, and the lilac. Now the purple's bigger than the lilac. I'm just going to not drive straight at them so they don't fly away. Okay. Now if we stick on the purple, I think it's going to about to be bombarded by the lilac. Oh, the lilac's all over us. All around us. The purple roller is sitting on the branch there. You see him, Brian? If you in the tree itself, and I think he's about to get bombed. So there we go. A little bit higher. There we go. If you center screen now. So there's the purple roller sitting there, just trying to bask in the sun, and it's being harassed by a pair of lilac-breasted rollers. Well, you can hear the purple rollers call. Oh. Almost sounds like a little frog. Now the lilacs have stopped in the tree behind it, but we're just going to stick on the purple to see if those lilacs come back for another attack. So, roller wars on quarantine. There we go, the purple's calling. Now, as he flies, yes, there they come. Here comes the lilac after him. The purple's escaped. The lilacs are shouting from joy from the tree that the purple was previously in. Is that a lilac following the purple? Oh no, it's outside, sorry. On the far left of this dead tree, the one the purple roller was in, there's the lilac-breasted roller. So that purple roller found a spot where it could sit with a branch above it to keep the lilacs from harassing it, and then once they gave him a bit of space, he moved away from them. Gorgeous birds, both the purple and the lilac-breasted roller. Oh, did he catch something? Incredible camera work. Oh, now the purple's attacking. Oh, the other purple came on the offensive. Let's go forward a little bit. So the second purple roller, there we go. It came and just chased the lilacs. Now the lilacs are bombing the purple. It's all happening here on quarantine as the roller wars continue. Here we go. There's the... Okay, if we come down a bit, Brian, there's that little marula. There we go. There's the purple roller. The second purple roller, as that other roller looked like it dived for an insect, the second purple roller came out and almost had a mid-air collision with it. sneak attack. And the lilac-breasted rollers are not sounding too happy. You can hear the tick, 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 beep, 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 beep. Maybe the purple rollers jealous of the lilac-breasted rollers' gorgeous breast colour, but I think not. I think it's more the competition for available food resources. Oh, it looks like maybe that lilac might have a nest here as well. And that could be the reason for all of the commotion. I'm just going to move forward to see if there's a nest hole there. So the roller's flown, but it does look like there could. It's a very good spot for a lilac-breasted roller to have a nest. There's a hole in the cavity of that little apple leaf or rain tree. And there could be a nest, and that could be why the lilac-breasted rollers are so aggressive around this particular set of trees. Wasn't that fascinating? Roller wars. Now, it seems as we start moving, they start again. I'll try to get a bit closer to the purple roller. I'm surprised it's letting us get this close. They are brilliantly beautiful birds. You can see that big beak, bigger than the lilac-breasted rollers. And one of the other very diagnostic features, apart from the colour and the size, is that the purple roller lacks rackets. Now, think about a tennis racket. When you look at a lilac-breasted roller, it's got long tail feathers with a round bobble on the end that looks a bit, actually probably not like a tennis racket, but more like a badminton racket. So when you call birds who have those very specific long tail feathers, you do call them rackets. And there's another species of roller that we don't get here that's actually called a racket-tailed roller. And it's, I think, my favorite of the roller species we get in southern Africa. Oh, Brian spotted the lilac-breasted on top of a little cluster leaf. And you can see those long rackets sticking out. It seems like there's a standoff now between the rollers. Let's leave the rollers to the roller wars of quarantine, and the killer bees are going to say a good morning, and we won't be, or I won't be out this evening. There's the thumb. It'll be the James and Jamie will be out. And hopefully there will be lots of lions around, lion cubs. And I know you heard Karula has a kill to the south, so unfortunately she might not be around, but maybe another leopard will make an appearance. So from the killer bees, adieu.
We're not far from Brent. He's just up around the corner there, and we're sitting on quarantine clearings enjoying the warmth of the sun. It's actually going to be quite hot today, which of course is quite unusual for this time of the year. Just look at these beautiful seeds. You see them, Jandre? Glowing pale syrupy gold. Isn't that nice? I don't know what they're from. They're not from a grass. They're from some sort of plant out here. But they'll be put to the wind as the August winds start, and they shall grow anew later on. And then I just wanted to show you one other piece of grass. Also that's going to be spread by the wind, and this is a 3-awn grass. I'm not sure exactly which one. Right, that's going to be it from us today. Thank you for joining us on our bushwalk. It's been wonderful fun. Thank you, Jandre, for taking the abuse and for all your efforts today. He did squash a tick earlier on. It was very disgusting. We will see you this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Until then, go and enjoy the last few minutes with Jamie. Bye-bye.
Oh, enjoy our last few moments on Cheetah Plains for now, before the end of the sunrise safari. Picked up on all of the lion tracks that have moved through this area, but I think that they are the lions that they've since found on Mala Mala, the Sticks, or around Mala Mala region, the Sticks and a couple of the Birminghams. No cheetah today, and Dave, or a pangolin actually. Every time I come to Cheetah Plains with you, you never find me a pangolin.
Next time, Dave.
Next time, okay, we'll see. We'll see. Promises, promises. Dave, of course, responsible for spotting the one and only pangolin in a very, very long time that any of us have seen. A scaly anteater, which is exceptionally rare to see, and it's a terribly tall order for me to demand a repetition of Dave's spotting skills. Perhaps almost unfair, but I'm going to maintain that it is a show of favoritism if he does not present us all with equal opportunities. We are going to slow down ever so slightly before we get to the end of our sunrise safari. The reason I say that is because just ahead of me, oopsie, that stick nearly flew up and hit Dave in the head. You got to be careful about where you drive over in terms of the sticks in the if you hit it at the wrong angle, you're going to fling it up and swing it into the car, which I've done before multiple times. And Dave had a very lucky escape. Dave, that's what will happen to you if you don't find me a pangolin next time on Cheetah Plains. Okay, just checking. Just making sure. We will have to follow up this afternoon on the sunset safari, see if those lions decide to stir themselves, and whether or not the lioness feeding her cubs might decide to head across. I'm sad that the Queen of Djuma crossed south, but you never know, she might return to us in due course, perhaps this afternoon. I must find out from the other guides if she has a kill, and I will update you all on that subject in a couple of hours. Alright, so we've reached the end of our sunrise safari. Thank you, Dave, for all of your fantastic camera work as always, as well as to Louise in final control and having to deal with our enormous amount of nonsense. And most importantly, thank you to all of you watching across the globe. I hope you have enjoyed the sunrise safari. It's lovely to hear some new names as well as our regular names. Not that it's not lovely to hear regular names, but it's lovely to hear some new names as well. Have a fantastic day. We will catch you on the sunset safari in a few hours. Bye bye, everybody.